In the final straight of the race, Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss will compete for the leadership of the British Conservative Party and the Premiership.
As returning officer, I can give you the results of the ballot. 357 votes were cast out of a possible 358. There were 2 spoiled ballot papers. The numbers of votes cast for each candidate is as follows. Mordaunt, 105. Sunak, 137. Truss, 113. Therefore, Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss will be the candidates going forward to a final ballot of Conservative Party members.
Most of the world's media predict that the vote may be won by former Chancellor Rishi Sunak, an Indian politician who from July 2019 to February 2020 was Chief Secretary to the Treasury in Johnson's cabinet and then became Chancellor of the Exchequer. Sunak can count on the strong support of his former Conservative colleagues.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's make him our next leader. Let's make him our next Prime Minister. Please welcome Rishi Sunak.
My message to the party and the country is simple. I have a plan to steer our economy through these headwinds. We need a return to traditional Conservative economic values, and that means honesty and responsibility, not fairy tales. It is not credible to promise lots more spending and lower taxes. I had to make some of the most difficult choices of my life as Chancellor, in particular how to deal with our debt and borrowing after COVID. I have never hidden away from those. I certainly won't pretend now the choices I made and the things I voted for were somehow not necessary. And whilst that may be politically inconvenient for me, it is also the truth.
The second candidate is Liz Truss, the current British Foreign Secretary. She has been a Member of Parliament since 2010 and has held several ministerial positions in recent years. She is sometimes compared to the Iron Lady Margaret Thatcher. Unlike Rishi Sunak, Truss has focused on lowering taxes in her latest promises.
I have a plan to make Britain a high-growth economy over the next 10 years through bold supply-side reform. We will cut taxes, helping businesses invest in their future. We'll tackle the cost of energy and will control government spending.
The name of the new leader will be announced in September, the day after the House of Commons returns from its summer recess. So far, there is a heated atmosphere in Parliament, and members of the opposition Labour Party are looking forward to the departure of the outgoing Prime Minister.
I think the message coming out of this leadership contest is pretty clear. They got us into this mess, and they've no idea how to get us out of it.
Boris Johnson used his last chance to get MPs' attention and turned directly to his future successor with some advice.
I want to use the last few seconds, Mr. Speaker, to give some words of advice to my successor, whoever he or she may be. Number one, stay close to the Americans, stick up for the Ukrainians, stick up for freedom and democracy everywhere. Cut taxes and deregulate wherever you can to make this the greatest place to live and invest, which it is. I love the Treasury, but remember that if we'd always listened to the Treasury, we wouldn't have built the M25 or the Channel Tunnel. Focus on the road ahead. Focus on the road ahead, but always remember to check the rear view mirror. And remember, above all, it's not Twitter that counts. It's the people that sent us here. And yes, the last few years have been the greatest privilege of my life. And it's true that I helped to get the biggest Tory majority for 40 years and a huge realignment in UK politics, Mr. Speaker. We've transformed our democracy and restored our national independence, as my right honourable friend says. I've helped to get this country through a pandemic and helped save another country from barbarism. And frankly, that's enough to be going on with. Mission largely accomplished. For now, I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank all the wonderful staff of the House of Commons. I want to thank all my friends and colleagues. I want to thank my right honourable friend opposite, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank everybody here, and hasta la vista, baby. Thank you.
On the 8th of July, Boris Johnson announced his resignation after a wave of departures from the government and a loss of confidence among ministers and his MPs. Within a few hours, nearly 60 people left the government of around 100 people. Boris Johnson announced that he would continue to perform his duties as Prime Minister until his successor was elected.